before I think last few weeks, iPod was an NGO. But some mischievous people, because they thought they would compel National Unity Platform to do certain things, went on a mischievous mission of making iPod an institution of the state of Uganda, and they amended the Political Parties and Organizations Act. But in doing so, they were not very smart. They thought they would compare us to belong to some organization. They didn't know that we are not just in the National Consultative Forum, but we are already the leadership of the National Consultative Forum. So iPod now is a department in National Consultative Forum. Like if you have a school and a new department is introduced, it doesn't mean that the school has been taken away. So the National Consultative Forum now is being rebranded to say that the parties that are represented in Parliament will be meeting here and a department called iPod, and the parties that are not represented in Parliament are meeting in a different department. So I thought that as the Vice Chairperson of the National Consultative Forum, I should explain this. Number two is the question of public funding of political parties. I think you have had a lot of idle talk from especially the NRM propaganda machinery that NUP does not want to participate in iPod activities but picks iPod money. Ladies and gentlemen, the funding that NUP receives from the state coffers as a creation of the law has got nothing to do with that NGO that people have been meeting in. Number two is that public funding of political parties was not born in Uganda. It has been in existence for very many years ago. In fact, in some countries like America, the conversation started in 1907. Today, public funding of political parties is practiced globally in over 100 countries. But in those none of those countries is funding of political parties tagged to going for meetings and taking pictures with the head of state. Because if there is meaningful discussion and dialogue, you do not need to compare people to come and meet with you. But because they feel that on account of their conduct, meeting with them, interacting with them has become so shameful that they must force people to go and talk with them. So this new creation of comparing people has got nothing to do with the public, but it's just a mischievous scheme to compare us, to go and engage in conversations with them. But like the young people say, now iPod is a department of the National Consultative Forum. And I have mentioned that NUP, which I represent in that forum, is currently the vice chairperson of that forum. So we have a duty to continuously, as NUP, teach those mischievous people that you don't build a country by using underhand methods. But we know that their objective and mission is never to build the country, but to extend their patronage system. But we have a duty then to give this information to the people of Uganda so that they can be able to challenge those lies that are being peddled by the propaganda machinery of the regime. Why so I answer nti bino nabyo byogere mu Ruganda. Kati simanya ani akumpa max ez'okwogera Oluganda naye wali wajja kunsasula bwe mbyogera bulungi. Mr. President, n'abakulembeze baffe and all of you comrades, eyo mark egenze. Bwe twalonkinga programu eno, twate bannayuganda nti fundraising eno tunoonya ssente za kutambuza campaign era ne tubeera ne target nti campaign eno bwe tufuna biliyoni 9 zijja tuyamba okutuuka buli wamu, zijja tuyamba okufuna posters ezimala, zijja tuyamba okulaba nti abantu bafe abamu abalina obusobozi obw'okukulembera naye nga tebalina ssente ngeza nominations tubasupporting. Tukimanyi nti abakenkufu abakola research aba Alliance for Financial Monitoring nga twakava mu kulonda kwa 2021 bafulumya report eraga nti candidate Museveni mu kulonda yakozesa biliyoni 9. Kati ffe zino zetuli mu kusolooza twagala 1% yezo Museveni ze yakozesa mu 2021 kubanga faba NUP enkola yaffe ya politics yanjawulo ku ya Museveni ne NRM kubanga bo biliyoni 9 baagala za kugulira abalonzi, baagala za kufinancing obumenyi bw'amateeka, naye ffe zaffe twagala fuel, twagala posters, twagala nomination fees. So tuvola baffe target yaffe abamu bayinza okugiraba ng'entono naye tumanyi Abannayuganda be tunoonyamu ssente ku ssaawa zino abangi bali mu mbeera mbi lwa bukulembeze bubi bwa gavumenti ya Museveni. Si bwe kiri? So target yaffe ebyo byonna tusoose ne tubitunulamu. Ensonga so twebaza Abannayuganda abaakavaayo ne bawagira omulamwa guno, ate tubasaba bongeremu amaanyi ku luno ensonga eno tugiguse weyina okugwera. Ensonga y'okubiri, Waiswa bw'abadde ampita wano yabategeezezza nti nze amyuka akulira National Consultative Forum. National Consultative Forum ye organ omukago ogw'ebibiina byonna eby'obufuzi mu Uganda. Ensonga ze bazze boogerako nti ebibiina birina okwogera, ebibiina birina okukkiriziganya ku nsonga ezimu n'ezimu, ebyo birina okukola ki? Ebyo bitulina obyogerera. Era tuze tugamba nti bwe wabaawo ebirina okwogerwako byonna, platform entuufu ye National Consultative Forum. Kati bano abazze nga baagala ginafuya nabo batuuse ku level ne bakkiriza nti aba NUP kye babadde boogera kye kituufu, ne baleeta eyo gye bayita iPod ebadde kibiina kya bwana kyewa ne bagikola department mu National Consultative Forum. Era ne baddamu ne bakola n'ensobe endala mu process eyo nti ekibiina kyonna okufuna support okuva ku ssente z'omuyiwa w'omusolo kirina okusooka ne kigenda ne kituula ne Museveni. Okusupportinga political parties nga bakozesa ssente z'omuyiwa w'omusolo tekitandikidde mu Uganda, kiri mu nsi yonna. Wetwogerera kiri mu mawanga agasoba mu 100. Mawanga agamu nga America ebyo batandika byogerako mu mwaka 1907. Naye mu mawanga ago gonna genjogeddeko 10 nga kuliko n'amangi agali mu Africa, teri awali akakwakulizo nti ekibiina okufuna support okuva mu state coffers kirina okusooka ne kigenda meeting ne kyekubira ebifaananyi n'oyo ali mu ntebe. Naye abaakuno kubanga bamanyi nabo ndowooza nti kiswaza okutuula nabo n'okwekubira nabo ebifaananyi nga kisinziira ku neeyisa embi gye bazze beeyisaamu, balabye nti bwe batateekako obukwakulizo obwo abantu tebajja kukkiriza kutuula nabo, so ne baleeta akakwakulizo ako bye tuwakanya kubanga bagezaako okunafuya idea eyandibadde ennungi bo ne baagala kuyisaawo ebyabwe. So kansubire nti ngezezaako okinyonyola bulungi no mu Luganda. Mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala.
Togezezaako okoze bulungi. Thank you so very much for that elaboration on different aspects. Without wasting any more time, allow me invite Doreen Kaija, the rector of our NUP School of Leadership. The student Mungirenga Zaman. And she will take us through this segment.
Thank you. Thank you. Ebintu bibera bya wakulu. Pozinga mwaga kongo bya komulimu. Your Excellency, our keynote speaker, Dr. Jimmy Spire Sentongo, Deputy Presidents of our party, the leader of our parliamentary front and Secretary General, all leaders of our mighty party, the facilitators of the National Unity Platform School of Leadership. That hand clap for them. Yeah, our dear graduates of today, our parents who are together with us, comrades, colleagues, and compatriots. It's great to be here today. The first people who are before me, Nozawade Mukasiki, Katwingi Dembaga. This is a great day, Your Excellency, to see that as the School of the National Unity Platform, we yet again gather at our party headquarters to celebrate this fruitful moment of these people that we have. I will go back right from how we started this year, not the first cohort. In January, we opened up a call for students who wanted to join the National Unity Platform School of Leadership. And in that regard, there was an online application and physical applications that were open for everyone. I'm happy to report to you, Your Excellency, and our keynote speaker, that we had over 200 people who applied. It is fortunate or unfortunate, we only had 170 who were successful to join us that time. And note that whoever didn't qualify was not really in position to be with us, but because of sometimes the space and what we can accommodate for an intake. And today, it is great that we have a total number of 149 graduates who are yet to be certified. And that is only for the people who have been attending classes physically. We tried to have the school move beyond the walls of Kamocha, looking at the people who live in the diaspora. And I'm happy to report to you that we have over 30 people who will be graduating with us today. And I think we have our comrade Matovo who will be representing the diaspora team. Thank you. I want to give in my appreciations, more so, mainly to our dear facilitators. Please, for a few who are here, you can stand up for recognition, and we appreciate you highly, kindly. Yes. Thank you. Please, thank you very much. I know as a school, yes, Madam Sarah. I know as a school we are highly indebted by your efforts. Every day, when this team here is called upon, I think the Secretary General should also be getting to stand up because he's part of the team. Yeah. Yes. So really, I want to appreciate you on behalf of the National Unity Platform School of Leadership. We are indebted of your hard work, of your commitment, of your passion, and the sacrifice that you make every day to see that that place is running. We appreciate you, please. Thank you. Thank you. You can kindly have your seats. Thank you very much. I want to appreciate the President's office, the Secretary General, the Secretary General's office for their continued support towards the school. And I want to say, of course, within this cohort when we were running, we had a time when the school was invaded. And of course, it was vandalized by the people who hold state power today, using soldiers who bear our national flag on their shoulders, dressed in our attires of the country. They invaded the school and also took away with everything, the properties, and also the place was damaged. But we are grateful that the party leadership didn't relent. They continue to offer in support to see that there is continuity of that school. So we want to appreciate you, please. Thank you very much. Allow me to appreciate this team, the students. I know it's not been easy, as many may think. It's been a toil. Sometimes you've had it on a hard way, when you come in late, when you do things which are out of the conduct of the school. It's been very, very hard. It's been tough. But I want to appreciate you for your teamwork. I want to appreciate you to see that you've upheld the spirit of growing and trying to be the leaders that this country deserves to have. I want to appreciate you for that. Mr. President, and our keynote speaker, among those people there, we have had people who have been coming from very far. And I want to mention there is a gentleman who used to come from Kasese for the 3 days and then he would still go back. And that is Mohindo. Yeah, thank you, brother. Thank you very much. I want to appreciate your full efforts that you've put in, not for just yourselves, but to see that this country can at one point have the best of leaders that we deserve to have. I know that I've not worked all alone. I have people that have been at the school, right from the gate down to the sanitation. I know the place has always been clean. We should appreciate that team for their work. They have been there for us. I will not talk so much, but I want to give a word to you, our awardees of the day. I know that today you're getting out of the walls of the school. I believe that the purpose of that school was to see that you can be the representative, the ambassadors of this mighty party, to see that the revolution to which we abide ourselves to, or we align ourselves to, can be a realization. I beg of you, please be the best ambassadors of the school and of the party. Go speak, preach, and help people who are out there to have information. The strongest weapon the guy who holds power has at his display is ignorance of our people. Please go and fight. Go and spread the gospel truth of change. Thank you very much. You will allow me at this very juncture to call upon the three people who are meant to speak on our behalf to kindly step forward. Thank you. Basi bitabo bingi sihali obudde bwonna banabufuna. Okay. So of course as a school we've tried to leave along just the training. We've always been requested that let it not be just an environment where people come, get trained and move out. We've involved people into critical thinking and they have come up with a specific or a special document that will be offered to the leadership of the party as an alternative document or policy. Thank you very much. I'll go. Yeah, who goes first?
Your Excellency, the President, Guest of Honor, Leader of Opposition, Secretary General, members of Delegate Conference, members of National Unity Platform, members of National Executive Committee, all leaders at various levels here, my fellow graduates, ladies and gentlemen, a very good afternoon. It gives me a great pleasure to speak to you all this afternoon. Your Excellency, the President, my name is Nadamba Shilen, representing Class A. I want to take this opportunity to thank you all. I want to take this opportunity to thank the management and NOB School of Leadership for choosing me out of the many to speak to you this afternoon on this occasion. Thank you so much. Your Excellency, the President, fellow graduates, I want to thank you all for reaching this milestone today, this Friday, July 11th, 2025. History indeed has been written today. Fellow graduates, join me to put our hands together to thank His Excellency, the President, for deeming it fit and thinking wise for coming up with the idea of initiating the opening up of NOB School of Leadership in Uganda's politics. Thank you. In the same vein, I wish to thank our coordinator of School of Leadership, Madam Kaija Dori, for his wise counsel, idea, and guidance towards us. His expectation leadership has made us who we are today. Ladies and gentlemen, the fruits of academic year 2024-2025 in the name of graduates you are seeing today are as a result of effort of various tutors and facilitators who have played a critical role in educating us. I wish to bring to your attention that in our learning experience here, we have studied 6 course modules, namely NOB philosophy, political and constitution history, governance and civil rights, communication skills, pathway to political change, and leadership in action. That cocktail of training has acted as a trigger and an eye-opener to us. It has further enlightened us of our law to overthrow the military junta who has oppressed this country for so many years. As the saying goes by, one philosopher, Aristotle, education of the mind without education of the heart is not education. Our hearts and minds have been charged to fight for political change in reference to Article 2 and 3 of the Constitution of the Republic of Uganda that empowers the citizen to fight and defend their constitution. Our learning experience here has been a holistic one, where we have not remained the same as we were. Before acquiring this training, we were so low. But this institution of Noob School of Leadership has created an environment that has exposed us to new friends, connection, and has further created a learning environment of human behavior. Since most of us here come from different walks of life with different behaviors, our stay here has been fruitful with results of patience, tolerance, persistence, resilience, and discipline. We have been equipped with knowledge of leadership, skills, and some of us here are going to contest as candidates in our respective electoral areas. It is further to note that an army led by one lion surrounded by 100 sheep can defeat one led by one sheep surrounded by 100 lions. Mr. President, what you to that knowledge appoints our learning experience that has equipped us with values of the party and philosophy. Your Excellency, the President, and fellow graduates, leaders are made but not born. We have been prepared and baked into steady leaders. It is right to note that in history of leadership, the world has never witnessed an impactful and strong leadership like that of King David. We are blessed to be in this generation led by you, Your Excellency, Mr. President. In my conclusion, as per Alan Bloom, education is the movement from darkness to light. Your Excellency, indeed we have seen the light. Yes. Fellow graduates, ladies and gentlemen, with these remarks, we need to rise up and fight for good governance. Thank you for listening to me.
Okay, good soldier!
People power, our power, Your Excellency, our chief guest, Robert Chaglani Sentamo, keynote speaker, Professor Jimmy Spire Sentongo, respected leaders, fellow graduates, and distinguished guests, you are most welcome. I'm representing Class C, those are elected leaders. Today marks a proud and memorable limestone in our journey as young leaders. We joined National Unity Platform of Leadership with desire to learn, to grow, and to better understand our role in shaping a just, free, and democratic Uganda. The National Unity Platform School of Leadership has not only equipped us with knowledge, but it has also strengthened our courage, sharpened our vision, and reminded us that leadership is not about power, but it's about service. Let us go out as ambassadors of truth, justice, and people-centered leadership. Let our communities see in us the love of our country. Dear Mr. President, we are ready to continue the fight of New Uganda. I'm Makula Vicky, Woman Councillor, representing the great people of Najana Nkumbi 1, LOC3, Lubada Division. Thank you.
Okay, she just landed, never mind. She just landed.
People power, our power, people power. Viva NUP, viva! Viva NUP, viva! Viva Kyagulanyi, viva! Vive President, viva! Uwe! Uwe! Hello. Our dear esteemed guest of honor, distinguished guests present, good afternoon. Your Excellency and Chancellor Sir Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, we can't afford enough to repay your benevolent generosity for welcoming Mother Uganda with open hands. We can't take this given free opportunity for granted. We are ready to preach and move the revolution to the next level. All we can say, asante sana, yongeza tena. To the General Secretary and the entire NUP executive leadership, thank you for creating space that has enabled grounded leaders. To the most loving, caring, educative, tough, passionate, real Madam Principal Kaija Doreen Attain and entire administration present of the Might School of Leadership, thank you for the mentorship, standing the test of shaping and carving the country's dead wood into fine instruments of change. Asante sana. By name's Rotarian Engineer Lutwama Peter from the professionals class of 2025. To the graduating class of 2025, a new dawn for our nation. Fellow graduates, comrades and defenders of truth, today is not just a celebration of academic achievement. It is a declaration of intent. It is a statement that we are not only scholars, we are sentinels of a better tomorrow. And as members of the National Unity Platform, we do not graduate merely to careers. We graduate into a revolution of purpose. We have studied modules for communication, pathways to political change, governance and civil rights, class leadership, only dimly by injustice. We have written assessments under the shadows of fear. We've walked always patrolled by systems designed to suppress voices like ours. And yet we are here, standing, graduating, and rising. Let this moment remind us of one thing. We are not powerless. We are prepared. A revolution is not born with bullets. It's born with belief. It begins when a student refuses to be silent, when a mother refuses to give up hope, when a youth once told you are nothing, stands up and says, I'm the future. That is the revolution we speak of, not of chaos, but of clarity, not of violence, but of vision. Uganda does not need another dictator. Uganda does not need another dictator. A revolution is not born with bullets. It's born with belief. It begins when a student refuses to be silent. When a mother refuses to give up hope. When a youth once told you are nothing stands up and says, I'm the future. That is the revolution we speak of. Not of chaos, but of clarity. Not of violence, but of vision. Uganda does not need another dictator. It needs disciples of democracy. Uganda does not need fear. It needs fierce hope. And hope is sitting right here in this crowd, wearing these gowns, raising those fists, and dreaming impossible dreams. But dreams without discipline are dangerous. So let us be strategic. Let us be organized. Let us build. Let us vote. Let us speak, and let us lead. Let us return to our communities, not with certificates, but with demands. For education that empowers, not indoctrinates. For jobs that dignify, not exploit. For leaders who serve, not steal. Let our revolution be led by love for our country, for each other, and for the generations yet to come. Fellow comrades, this is not the end of our journey. It's ignition time. Let the revolution is not an apple that falls because it is ripe. You have to make it fall. We are the children of resistance and the parents of change. We are the generation that will no longer ask for permission to be free. So rise, NUP family, march boldly, speak loudly, organize wisely. And never ever let anyone convince you again that your voices do not matter. Because the future is not waiting, it is watching. And we are ready to move the revolution. People power, our power, people power. Viva NUP, viva! Viva! Viva Chagrani, viva! Viva! Hello.
Thank you so very much. Before you go, Mr. President, as they discussed earlier, they have an alternative policy that they would want to hand over to the party. I don't know the Secretary General, how does that go? Okay. You will, Mr. President, you will come and receive the policy from our people.
Good afternoon, everyone. Your Excellency, I'm humbled to stand before you as a graduate of the NUP School of Leadership. I take this opportunity to hand to you this document of policy alternatives drafted by a couple of members of our class. These are views and ideas that we have suggested to transform Uganda. I take this opportunity to hand this document to you, sir, and we pledge to the nation that we shall work on this to deliver Uganda into the future it deserves. Thank you very much.
They will have a picture, the three of them, as they spoke. Join here. The ladies first, then you close. Right there. Let's have that. People power. Our power. People power. NUP. Everywhere. Kaija, you left yourself out. Please. Let's have Kaija also on the team. People power. Our power. People power. NUP. Everywhere. Thank you so very much. You're most welcome. Abana basomye tebasomye mubawulidde tebatawanye natuvundulira naye olunyanyimbe bakoze ki balwogedde. Thank you so very much. Kaija, are you concluding or you've concluded?
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, the representatives, and thank you for the English. As we come to the conclusion of this has been a cocktail of different students. We've had engineers, we've had musicians, we have Sebunya, yeah, Sulaima, Sebunya, yes, that's Cartel, yeah. We have journalists like Jonah. Yeah, I want to say thank you guys, and congratulations. I want to wish you very best. Thank you very much.
So, without wasting any time, let me invite my boss, the leader of parliamentary business, and party spokesperson to please come and give us a communication. You're most welcome.
Aiswa, the graduation yange yawedde yali last week kati sekugira kuki byakusoma people power, our power, NUP everywhere. Mr. President oluzungu balwogedde olungi kakati kanjogeremuko ku Luganda naye mutegera Oluganda mmwe bwana mwogera luzungu lwokka. For the benefit of the foot soldiers, let me begin with English because they understand English very well. Kati mwabali eyo afterwards mujja genda mu bano babavunulire. So as I was saying, Mr. President, colleague leaders, our graduates, I'm told you came with some of your parents. We do appreciate you and everybody else. I want to congratulate all of you who have been through school for the past couple of months. Thank you for taking off time to study, to add value to yourselves and to this struggle that we are doing. You see, education is in various forms and shapes. Sure, Dr. Spire will tell us, hopefully. You know, there's the education you attain when you go through a formal structure. You go to a university like at Makerere where Dr. Spire teaches, and you study a diploma, a degree, a master's, PhD, and you get a transcript. There's education that you attain through short courses like the ones you have attained through our NUP School of Leadership. There's education that we get through this school called the World. And that's the lifelong education that we attain, and hopefully we get to learn and become better citizens and all of that. But I want to congratulate you. Thank you for taking off time to better yourselves. You see, for me, as far as I am concerned, we are ready and we have got what it takes to run government at all levels. At all levels, because you see, sometimes people think, you know, it is okay when the top is good. Our president is a lawyer. We have several educated people, Harvard and so on. Is the graduation Muzidaba. That's a good thing. But we don't want it to be just at the top. At all levels, because you see, we need leaders at all levels in this our country. And so from what I see, we are ready to run government. So people who had any doubts, are these people ready? Do they have what it takes? We are here and we are ready. People came from the bush, they didn't know what to do, they could not speak the English you're speaking, they had not even a single qualification. But for us, we have said, let's get ready. So that it's one thing to remove this regime, which we are going to do very soon. It's another thing for us to successfully run government, and this shows that we are ready to run government, to change this country, to better the trajectory of our country. And that's what we are doing. Nelson Mandela once said that education is the most powerful weapon that you can use to change the world. That is true. And maybe that's why this government has refused to focus on education, because uneducated people are very easy to rule over. They are very easy to manipulate. We have always made the case, UPE, Universal Primary Education, which is supposed to be a good program. capitation grant that is given, money to run the schools, to cater for the educational needs of each child, is 20,000 shillings. Not per week, not per month, not per term, per year. Just think about that. 20,000 shillings allocated to each child as capitation grant in the UPE schools per year for the whole year. And somehow that child is supposed to compete with schools, private schools, the good ones and so on, to compete with the rest of the world. Not just locally here. It cannot happen. And that's why we remain raw, we remain in a vicious cycle. And for us in our alternative policies, we have always said, let's increase this capitation grant. If we are serious about educating this young generation to become the kind of leaders we want them to be, let's push it up. In fact, for us, we have said at the bare minimum, let's multiply it by 5 at the bare minimum for a start. So it is still at 20,000 shillings. That's why we have said severally, let's pay all teachers very well, not some teachers. Because what government decided, let's pay just the science teachers well. How about the arts teachers? The arts are important too. Because they're all teachers, they've qualified similarly, they teach the same man hours or woman hours. Let's pay all teachers well. Because when you don't do that, these teachers, they become lethargic. You can force them to go to class, as was the case, because Mr. Museveni called them to State House, intimidated them and said, go back to class quickly. And the poor teachers have gone back to class. But they're not teaching as they should be teaching. They're not passing on the knowledge they should be passing on. Because they're not well motivated. So they will be in class, yes. They will hold chalk, but they will not pass on the right content to these children. So all of those things affect education. And so this government is deliberate about frustrating education. Because when people remain there, in that state, research has told us that children who are in P7 in UPE schools, they cannot do P2 work. That's the research that was conducted by an entity called WEZO. Children who are in P7 UPE schools, they cannot do work of P2, but they're in P7, and then they'll go to secondary and so on. So they remain shallow. That's what we want to change. That's what our government is going to change, very deliberately, so that we become a better country. So that people who are educated can challenge leaders. Because when you're not educated, you've been seeing Mr. Museveni moving around. Those poor people at whatever age, elderly, they will kneel down and he gives them an envelope, which has, I don't know, maybe 50,000 or that kind of thing, whatever amount. But somebody who is educated, somebody who knows the value of them being a citizen, will be challenging the leader and saying, no, before you give us those envelopes, where are the roads you promised us? Where is the good healthcare? Where is the good education, infrastructure, service delivery, and so on and so forth? So that's what we want to do. And we have begun it here. So we congratulate you once again. Katibu sogere Luganda bannange. Tembitegedde wamma? Kale just kandwogere ku lw'abana abali eri. Abazadde bamanyi oluzungu, ngamba abali wali. Bannamawulire. Twagala okuyuzayuza abasomi. Banne mwebale kusoma. Yoge. Kusoma kikulu nnyo. Era ndabamu abantu bangi. Ndabala abakulembeze abamu abava mu Nakawa West. Mwebale kusoma. Muyimirire kale President alabe nti Nakawa tusoma. Obalabye President, obalabye abo bakansala abafaawo. Basomye. Mwebale butatuswaza. Ekyokusoma ekyokuyiga kikulu nnyo. Ate okuyiga tulina okimanya nti okuyiga waliwo okuyiga okubeera mu kiraasi, university, nakino okola degree, masters, PhD n'ebirala. Ne waliwo n'okuyiga nti ogenda kubangulwa. Kyeno koosi gye musomye oyinza obutagiteeka ku CV yo n'ekuweesa omulimu naye kubangudde tekulese kyekimu. Bayire bino ne ku CV muziteekeko tomanya. Tekutuuka mu ofiisi omuntu ategeire nti ntambuza emirimu gyaffe nga NUP. Bw'anaalabako kakoosi ajja gamba ono gwe njagala ono abimanyi. Tubayuzayuza mwebale kuwaayo kaseera. Bw'obeera omukulembeze kirungi okusigala ng'otambulira mu kumanya kubanga okumanya tekukuma. Otuuka ekiseera n'ogamba nti kaakati nze nkikubye nnyo, awo otandise okwonooneka. Tulina tambulira mu kumanya, mu kwongerako, mu kwongera okutegeera ensi nga bw'etambula. Nelson Mandela yagamba nti education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world. Nti okusoma oba ebyenjigiriza kyakulwanyisa kinene nnyo ekisobola okukozesebwa okukyusa ensi. Ate nga kituufu, kubanga abantu baba nga basomyeko nga bayigirivu, bibeera byanjawulo, eggwanga ebyo libeera lyanjawulo nnyo, n'engeri gye balondamu, n'engeri gye basalawo, engeri gye bateeka abakulembeze ku nninga ebeera yanjawulo. Kyovudde olaba oba oliawo gavumenti eno ebyenjigiriza tebiteekako nnyo ssira. Tubeereyo mu palamenti nga tubiyombako UPE, Universal Primary Education, kibayita capitation grant, zino sente zigenda kuyisa omwana ono mu ssomero ebyenjigiriza bye naki. Buli mwaka buli mwana bamusasulira $200 omwaka gwonna, si wiiki, si mwezi, si taamu, omwaka gwonna. Kakati gwe teebereze $200 omwaka omulamba. Oyo omwana gwe basuubira nti ajja kutuula ebibuuzo bye bimu n'abagenda mu masomero agali wano e Kampala. Oyo mwana gwe basuubira nti ajja kusobola okompiitinga n'abaana abali mu nsi endala zonna, mu nsi yonna. Tekisoboka. Kyobuloola tusigala tuli mabega. Ne tugamba nti abasomesa bonna basasulwe bulungi. Gavumenti yo yagamba nti tujja sasulamu abasayansi bokka, ate abalala ba arts bo si basomesa, bo tebasomesa ssaawa ze zimu, tebatuula mu classroom y'emu. Of course kyeyakola Mwai Museveni n'abayita n'abakangakanga abo, mutagende mu class tujja bagoba. Bambi abasomesa ne batya, aba arts ne baddayo okwekalakasa, ne bakuyimiriza, ne baddayo okusomesa. Naye ebyaddala bw'obigoberera, abasomesa bali mu kibiina naye tebasomesa nga bwe kirina kubeera, kubanga tebali motivated, tebajja kuwaayo buli kimu ekibalimu okusomesa abaana bano obulungi, kubanga si basanyufu. Kati bajja kusomesaako bya mpola mpola. Kati golowooza nti bali mu kibiina basomesa naye ng'ate tebasomesa. Kati kyovudde olaba ffe tugamba ebintu ebyo tulina obikyusa. Gavumenti yaffe egenda bikyusa, tuteeke essira ku byenjigiriza, kubanga abantu abasomyeko abayigirivu tebajja kukola nga bino omuze mulamu Mwai Museveni yalambula n'agenda okulambula abalina obubizi, abalina obukoko obusatu. Bambi abantu abaavu najja n'afukamira n'amuwa ebbaasa erimuba $500 oba mmeka. Kati omuntu asomyeko abagamba nedda saagala bbaasa yo, njagala luguudo, njagala mu ddwaliro, twagala mirimu ng'abavubuka. Kati kyovudde olaba batubeezaawo, ffe kitwagala kikyuke, ng'abantu bamanye ekyokukola, bamanye ekyokubanja abakulembeze baabwe, si just bbaasa. Twagala okusomoka. Era Pulezidenti njagala kugumya nga tumaze okutwala obukulembeze, ate ekyo nga tekiri wala nnyo. Tulina obumalirivu, tulina obusobozi obuddukanya gavumenti, kubanga tekikomye no ku bakulembeze nti buli bafuna zi masters ne tuzifuna aba Harvard naki. Twagala kireme koma ku bakulembeze ab'oku ntikko. Ffenna tubenga tumanye ekyokukola. Kuba Pulezidenti ng'ali mu State House si abeera akulembera yekka, abeera n'abakulembeze ab'enjawulo. Kati kino kitulaga nti ffe tuli ready okuddukanya gavumenti. Twagala okusomooza abalala, namwe mujje musome tulabe nga eggwanga ligenda mu maaso. Congratulations again.
Kama wange mwongere engalo ez'amaanyi. Naffe aba media tuli basanyufu nti mu ssomero Jonas Sebo webale kusoma. Yimirira abantu bakulabeko. Yimirira, leero alina mutaayi. Ali mutaayi naye yasomye. So buli muntu ayina eddembe okulaba nti ayongerwako kyasobola okukola ki okwongerwako. Mr. President and the Secretariat, I will indulge you for a minute. These graduates forgot just a small act. Please mujje mugabe ekirabo kyammwe ekyo mu ddakiika emu tugende ku program endala. Temugenda funa nno omukisa gwa kwogera okuggyako okusoma nti kati gwe nno ekirabo naawe nno ekirabo.
So much. the President, Deputy Presidents, the Leader of Opposition, Secretary General, the leaders around, fellow graduates, parents, and everyone. Good afternoon. I'm Irene Kaija Nin. I was the treasurer for Class B, acting treasurer for Class B. I've been honored to give these gifts out very, very fast. To begin with, we have a gift for our dear coordinator, the NUP School of Leadership. Where is she? Miss Kaija Doreen, you can come forward for our very simple and beautiful gift. Thank you so much for everything you have been doing for us. We pray for you. Feel appreciated in all ways. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Our second gift goes to Razak Dalil. Where is Razak? We have a gift for you. Mr. Razak. That man wouldn't allow us to even hold phones in class, would always be near the window. So feel appreciated. Thank you so much for everything you do. Feel appreciated. Come here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Feel appreciated. And our last gift goes to Mr. Kabanda, the security officer. Kabanda Zoe. Kabanda Zoe. Yeah, Kabanda will make sure once principal says it's 5 p.m., even if you come at 1 minute past, you'd go back. So thank you so much. Feel appreciated. Gifts from Class B professionals. Thank you.
Ebbanga kino nakireetedde Pulezidenti okuva e Jamaica. Mr. President, nkuleeteddeyo ekirabo ekyokunjigiriza okusoma. Ekyo nakijja e Jamaica.
Kino ekyaffe ekivudde mu Class A, class y'aba foot soldier. Tukireetedde coordinator waffe Madam Kaija nga tumwebaza olw'okubeera maama n'atulera bulungi paka we tumaliriza. Thank you so much. Ate ne baasa tugenda juwa foot soldier munnaffe yamenyeka okugulu nga bagenda eyo mutuwa bamutomera okugulu ne kuvaako seruga. Era essaawa zino era akyali mu struggle wadde yavaako okugulu Mr. President. Muzoganyi waffe.
People power, our power. Let me invite our Deputy President, Northern Region, to come and take the honors of inviting the President, who will invite our, your Deputy President, please. I want to thank the organizing committee of this place, the executive secretary of the President, Sarah Samukubireko Mungalo, okutuyotera n'akakiiko ke konna. Manyi nti ali wala waliyo n'ebirala bye tuteeseteese temuvaawo nga tetukoze eki tetubibawadde naddala ba student twabalowoozezzaako mu ngeri ey'enjawulo.
Oritia! 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 Kunga School of Leadership, Kunga! Kunga Doreen, Kunga! Kunga NUP, Kunga!
Your Excellency, the de facto and de jure President of the Republic of Uganda, it's not only the love people are showing you, it's that you inspired us across generations. You inspired us across the geography. You even demystified geography because you went virtual. You have gone spiritual. Who are we on behalf of the deputy presidents from the 4 regions? Inspired by the truth that as my generation sent fear to respond to fear, you led a generation and lead a generation that has sent hope to open the door for fear. And fear has run away. I've seen it, I've touched it. Yes. You have instilled and created and reincarnated the lives of Martin Luther King Jr. As they were speaking, I was walking through mentally, emotionally, that generation. I couldn't cry. We can't now cry because you are the Martin Luther King Jr. multiplied many times. What can we say? Today we can't say. We have been ignited, we are on fire, yes. And we are ready to move. Olwecho, nzikiriza. Kakutwale obude buno, ne mitisa jino, bana Uganda yena fena, mu online, ne physically, tulinda, olwalero. Era ddala okuva wano ne amaanyi eyo tugendewa kubanga ffe tumanyi tulaga naye gwe okulembesa waffe era ddala we believe in you, we trust in you, you inspire us. Your Excellency, may I have the honor to invite you. Nzani
People power! Our power! NUP! Everywhere! Oritia! Kunga Uganda, Kunga Mama Zebriga, Kunga School of Leadership, Kunga. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please take your seats. Madam Deputy Presidents from Western Uganda and from Northern Uganda, our dear guest, Professor Spire, fellow leaders, members, ladies and gentlemen, I salute you today. As a matter of fact, today, I don't have so much to share with you. I'm only here, just like the rest of us, to feed from the cup of wisdom of Professor Spire, a man who we admire from a distance, but we're honored to host you for the first time today, and we hope to host you many, many more times in the future. However, before I invite you, sir, today I must make this comment. Looking at these amazing people passing out again from our School of Leadership throws my mind so many years ago. So many years in that very ghetto of Kamocha. That place was a hangout place for ghetto youth. From their border works, from their car washing works, and those others who would come from their wallet snatching escapades. That is a ghetto where many of us would meet. I was one of them, but I got the rare opportunity to go to school, though not substantially. So in the year 2016, I made a conscious decision to go back to law school. And that's where I met that man with the bald head called David Lewis Lubongoya. But everything that we learned in law school, I found it important to share with my fellow ghetto youth. So every lecture that we concluded, myself and Nubian Lee would hang out in the same ghetto and share the same with the ghetto youths of that day, but in a local language and in a more simplified version. When we started the People Power movement that culminated into the National Unity Platform, that very place was turned into our first headquarters. Of course, it was a pain for so many ghetto youth. Their claim was, "Father, that's what they used to call me back in the ghetto. You've given away our place to the intellectuals." My answer to them was, "I'm only bringing knowledge closer to you." I'm very glad to see that those words continue to come to action as we move forward. Among them were many of our comrades that I'm seeing today transforming just like myself have been transforming. We give glory back to the Almighty God for that. Friends, things are possible and things are achievable only if you don't stop dreaming. So it fills my heart with pleasure, with gratitude, with satisfaction, and with pride to see that this is where we are today. We're certainly not where we want to be, but we are not where we used to be. But what is most important is that we are the same people, and I hope we shall continue to be the same people, only transforming from good to better. We thank God that we are here. I salute all of you that embraced the call to better yourselves. And I'll tell you, comrades, that Malcolm X was not wrong to say that education is the passport to the future. No, he wasn't. I want to assure you that Steve Biko was not wrong when he said the most important weapon in the hands of the oppressor is the mind of the oppressed. No, he was not wrong. And yes, Che Guevara was not wrong to say the first duty of a revolutionary is to get educated. Here we are. You have taken the first step. You've accomplished the first duty, although education never ends. Please take the next one to put that you learned into action, and we shall be the leaders worth our salt. I congratulate you. Go fly, go make us proud, go make Uganda proud. Go represent us, because everybody looking at you will be seeing all of us here. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. Bannange kya kitiibwa nnyo bassebo ne bannyabo, abazadde baffe abali wano leero, abagole baffe, bakulembeze bannange mwenna, n'okusingira ddala omugenyi waffe ow'enjawulo Dr. Spire Ssentongo. Tukwaniriza nnyo ssebo omulundi gwaffe ogusoose okukyaza, era twesunze okwongera okukyaza nate enfunda eziwerako mu biseera eby'omu maaso. Bannange leero saatesetese kwogera bingi nga mbadde neererejja ennaku eziyise. Olwaleero nange okufaanana n'abalala bali wano, nange nazze kuyiga mu bigambo eby'amakulu ebiva mu mugenyi waffe omukulu Dr. Spire. Bwe tubadde tuyigirako from a distance, mwenna abajjukira munajjukira ti Professor Spire abadde wanjawulo nnyo. Waliwo omukulembeze gye buvuddeko yagamba nti mu biseera biri ebyayita abayivu omulimu gwabwe balina okusalawo kwa mirundi ebiri, either okukola omulimu gwabwe nakera ku makya nasibeta nagenda ku university nasomesa nawandiika ebitabo nasirikiraawo, oba okudduka mu ggwanga baba wakwogera mazima. Twagala okusiima ssebo Dr. Spire nti tubadde nga ba intellectual ab'omulembe guno abamanyi amazima ate nga bagezi, naye nga amagezi gaabwe bagakozesa kukuumira mu kifo obutali bwenkanya. Ssebo okoze omulimu gw'amaanyi gwe watandika zi exhibitions omwali n'eya parliament n'olabisa abantu bangi muli ne bakyali baffe naye oba oli awo ekyo omuntu yenna yina ayagala ensi ye kyalina okukola okulaga amazima. Si bwe tukwebaza webale nnyo webalire ddala. Olunaku lwaleero lwa nkizo baganda bange, ate eri nze lundeetera ebirowoozo bingi kuba bwe ntunuulira abayizi baffe olunaku lwaleero abagenda okutikkirwa n'okufuna certificates. Obwongo bwange budduka ne buddayo emyaka mingi nnyo emabega. Ekifo ekyo kyennyini abali essomero lyaffe ery'obukulembeze twakiyitanga barracks nga tukyali ba fire base crew. Ekifo ekyo lyali kuŋŋaaniro ly'abaana ba ghetto bonna gye bavudde mu kupambana kwabwe, abatembeeyi nga bakooyi nga bapoyeraawo, abavudde okwoza emmotoka nga bapoyeraawo, n'abava okunyakula obusimu nga nabo bapoyeraawo. So eyo yali nga ntabiro y'abaana ba ghetto. Era ebiseera ebyo ng'eyali ghetto president nafunanga omukisa okunyumyangamu nabo. Ekyenjawulo nti nze nalina omukisa nga ndi mwana wa ghetto naye nga nasomako ewaawo nali saagenda wala. Era nga we tusinkanira ne twogera ku mbeera ze tuyitamu. Mu mwaka gwa 2016 nasalawo okuddayo ku ssomero okusoma amateeka. Era twalina omusomesa waffe yatusomesanga amateeka. Yali tanakutuka kiwalaata, sigamba nti yakikutuka. Omusajja oyo yali muwanvuwanvu we abamu tebumumanyi, baali bamuyita Lubongoya. Naye nga buli lecture gye tumala mu law class bweva ku university ate eyo lecture nzija nengimenyeramenyeramu bakyali bange mu ghetto. Ebiseera ebyo kyatukolanga bulungi kubanga ffe twali tulina ensisinkana ey'enjawulo ey'ebangula nga buli omu kyamanyi akiyigiriza omulala, kuba mu ghetto twalina enkola eya each one teach one. Era kyomanyi okiyigiriza banno mu lulimi lwabwe. Kyakitiibwa nnyo titugenze tweyubula okutuuka ku kiseera kino. Naye nga tetunaba kweyubula wajjawo obwetaavu era ne tuyitibwa. Tulina okukkiriza nti guno omulimu Katonda yatuyita tugukole. Era omulimu ogwo twasalawo okugukola twatandika ekisinde kye bayita People Power Movement ekyayiyubula ne kifuuka National Unity Platform. Era nga mu kifo ekyo bwe twateeka ekitebe kyaffe ekyasooka, abaana ba ghetto basooka kukomplaininga okwemulugunya nti fada ate ekifo kyaffe we tubadde tupoyera naffe obadde tuyigirizaamu olwo actually ate kati okiwadde bano ba actually bennyini. Mu kubaddamu nabagamba ngezaako okusembeza kumanya gye muli. Kyali tekirabibwa kiseera ekyo, nebaza Katonda nti kitandise okulabibwa. Bwe twafuna omukisa ne tufuna ekitebe ekineneko wano wenyini we tuli, olw'ekisa kya Katonda twafuna era ekirowoozo ekifuulira ddala awo essomero. Mu bantu abaabeeranga awo mu biseera bya ghetto ndi musanyufu okulaba nti ate mu kweyubula kwaffe tetwebudde nga Lok bw'agambye Comrade Ssenyonyi bakulembeze ba Kutiko bokka. Ne mu abo bwe mwali nga ndabyeko Dogo City One, oyo yali omu ku bo. Ndabyeko Pafuje waali wano, Pafuje yali omu ku bo. Era mu abo abaana abaalinga awo nga bayaye bawo bwe twafuna n'omu ku bakulembeze gwe bayita Twaha Amin, oyo ng'akiikirira Naggulu. Naye njagala okwebaza mwenna baganda baffe abaawulira omulango ogwo ogw'okukkiriza okuyiga era ne mwenyigira mu kusoma okwo. Guno gwe mulundi ogwokubiri nga tupasinga out oba nga tutikkira abayizi okuva mu ssomero eryo. Mbeebaza nnyo, mbeebaza okumanya ensonga enkulu. Kino tekikoma ku muntu omu, naye kikulu nnyo bwe kyomanyi n'okiyigiriza omulala naye n'akiyigiriza omulala naye n'akiyigiriza omulala. Yengeri gye tusobodde okubeerawo, bye tumanyi tubimanyi kubanga abaatusookawo baatuwa omukisa ne tubiyiga. Kyova olaba mbagamba nti yali mutuufu nnyo omugezi Malcolm X bwe yagamba nti okuyiga ye passport egenda okutwambuza okutuusa mu biseera by'omaaso by'okweyagala. Yali mutuufu nnyo Steve Biko bwe yagamba ekyokulwanyisa ekyasinze okuba eky'amaanyi nga kiri mu mikono gy'oyo anyigiriza, bwe bwongo oba endowooza y'oyo anyigirizibwa. Era yali mutuufu Kyekuvera nga tugamba nti omulimu gw'oyo omulwanirizi w'eddembe ogusookera ddala kwe kuyigirizibwa oba okubangulwa. Kya kitiibwa nnyo nti ne mu kaseera kano tulina ate ababanguddwa mu nnono yaffe, mu ntegeera yaffe, mu birubirwa byaffe n'endowooza yaffe n'entegeera yaffe ng'aba National Unity Platform. Nina okumanya wa gye tuva ng'eggwanga, kusobola okumanya n'okusalawo wa gye tugenda oba gye tulina okugenda. Tosobola kumanya wa gy'olaga nga tomanyi gy'ova. Nedda. Omugezi omu yagamba, the farther back you look is the farther in front you see. Teweetaaga kulengera nnyo mu maaso okumanya gy'olaga. Nedda, tunula weetegereze wa gye tuvudde. Kijja kuwa ekifaananyi okulaba wa gye tulaga, oba n'okuwa endowooza oba ebirowoozo enteekateeka wa gye tulina okulaga. Ekyo nno kye tuliko olunaku lwa leero bassebo ne bannyabo. Njagala okubayozaayoza mwenna abeewaddeyo, abatindiza eŋŋendo nga muganda waffe okuva e Kasese, n'ojja n'obeera part of us, n'ojja n'oyiga. Njagala okusalutinga abaganda baffe, ndabye Jona wano, omu ku bakulembeze ababannamawulire baffe, okuba nti mu schedule eri bize osobodde okwewaayo n'osoma. Nayitayoko ku ssomero, nasanyuka nnyo n'okusangayo abantu abatalina kye beetaaga nga ba star already, nga muganda waffe Dax Cartel, music star already, naye newaayo ayige. Ogwo nno gwe mwoyo n'omutima gwe twetaaga ffenna ng'eggwanga. Mbayozaayoza nnyo bassebo ne bannyabo, mugende mutuweese ekitiibwa, mugende mulage ekifaananyi kyaffe. Yemmwe be tuyina, bulijjo otambula njagala omanye nti otambula naffe ffenna n'emikisa gyaffe gyonna n'obwesigwa bwaffe bwonna. Mutuweese ekitiibwa. Abantu abanaabalaba bajja kusinziira ku mmwe okutupima. Mukole kyonna kyonna kye musobola okutuwa ekifaananyi ekirungi. Bye muyize temubikomya ku mmwe mwekka. Batuyigiriza abatuli owamwoyo nti tosobola kukuma tabaaza ate n'ogirikako ekibbo. Bw'okuma etabaaza olina ogireka ekitangaala ne kyakira buli omu. Ate omusubbaawa tegulina kye gufiirwa nga gukozeseddwa okukoleeza ku musubbaawa omulala. Muli misubbaawa bassebo ne bannyabo, mugende mukulaanye emisubbaawa emirala. Ensi eyake, ffenna twake, tufune ekitangaala. Omugigi gwaffe gusobole okuyamba omugigi gwaffe gwennyini n'emigigi gyonna gyonna eginaddako. Mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala kwewaayo, mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala, ate mufuuke bakulembeze. Not even the sky is the limit. Mukama abampere nnyo omukisa, mwebale nnyo, mwebalire ddala. N'obugambo obwo ssebo Dr. Spire saba okkirize nkuyite ojje oyogereko gye tuli.
Mukyayimiridde. Nsuubire ku geeti waliwo obukuumi obumala. Kuba mmwe mwamanyiira okuddukadduka, abamu ku ffe emisinde gyaffe tetugyesiga. Olwekyo abali ku geeti kansuubire baategese bulungi. Nze n'ekigere kinnuma ebajjira wano ntuula bukyusa. Honorable Kyagulanyi, the President of NUP, the Leader of Opposition, the Secretary General, all the Deputy Presidents, other party leaders, our graduates, other leaders present, the parents to the graduates, friends, everyone. I'm really honored to be before you today as the guest speaker. I congratulate the graduates. I was informed that this is the second certificate awarding ceremony, and that last year the keynote speaker was General Muntu. So this year they looked around for another general. And they felt that I would be the right person to give the keynote speech. Not really to say that the general title is a big one, especially today. But nevertheless, I'm really honored. I want to first thank you before I go into the main the gist of my invitation. I thank you, many of you, for standing with us when I lost my brother a few days ago. Yeah, many of you are there with us. You've sent us messages. I've not read many of the messages because they were overwhelming. You sent messages, condolences, some of you called. Yeah, we really don't take that for granted. Yeah, I thank you so much for that. And in that line, Saba Antwalo Mukisa Eda, to request you that we stand up for a moment of silence in honor of my fallen brother, Dr. John Bosco Chigundu Spire. May his soul rest in peace. When I'll not have to translate, I want to assume that many of us will understand me, but also for the sake of including those who may not understand Luganda. Otherwise, if I translate, we might spend the whole day here. So here and there, I'll use a bit of Luganda, but I may not translate everything. When Mr. David Rubongwea reached out to me, I first turned down the invitation. Of course, following the recent loss of my dear brother, I have not yet recovered from the shock and pain. I've been quiet for a while since my mind is not yet in the right place. I'm still going through a long night. But I quickly remembered that when my brother died, Mr. Rubongwea is one of the so many people that reached out to me with condolences and a message from the President, Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi. Abaganda bagamba nti munno mukabi. Yes, a friend in difficult times is a true friend. But also on top of that, although I have not been very close to Noop, and this is my first time here, on a number of occasions, the leaders have reached out to me, sometimes encouraging me, please visit us, could we have a talk? A few years ago, I held a comedy show, and I was surprised to see the entire crew of Honorable Kyagulanyi. Yes, even Nubian Lee was there with his small voice. I saw him in the audience. Yes, and Eddie Motwe, the Secretary General as well. I was really surprised because I never invited any politician, especially I wouldn't invite them because I wanted the show to go on. So I don't know whether their intention was to sabotage the show by their presence. Yeah, but it means a lot if one can just randomly show up, and they showed up in such a number. I'm impressed by people who are humble. I'm impressed by people who do not try to show that they are high up there, but who can calm down, regardless of the positions they might hold or their qualifications. And I've seen this on a number of occasions, your leaders going to places where you wouldn't expect them to be. So that being with me, that being with us in grieving, but also on other occasions where it was really surprising for them to be there. I don't take it for granted. I remember even the time I was quarantined, again, Honorable Kyagulanyi called me, and he's one of those that try to encourage me to go through that difficult time. So therefore, despite my current circumstances, I changed my mind and accepted to be here today. A friend I told about coming here asked me, are you sure you want to go there? are you sure you want to be kidnapped while still grieving? I told him that the kidnappers are human, they can't do that. Yes, and sometimes they are too stupid, they would take that for a compliment. The second reason why I accepted is because I believe that my relevance as an academic is primarily in being able to share the knowledge I have been privileged to acquire with my people that might need it. My titles mean little or nothing if I'm irrelevant to my community. We who want to consider ourselves to be highly educated have on so many occasions dismissed those who are trying to change what is not going right in this country. We have said that they lack knowledge. We said they are not well groomed. We have said they are unwashed. We have said they are still raw. In one of the speeches, I think the representatives of the group, yes, she said you went to the training when you were, did you mean raw or low? Oh, when you were raw. And now the president whispered to me that now you're low, L-A-W. Yes, so they said that some of you were raw and dismissed you on that account. Yet whenever we are invited to rise to the occasion, we shy away with excuses. I have chosen to respect whoever tries to do what needs to be done, even if they may not be perfect, even if they may be imperfect. After all, we are all imperfect. Era Abaganda tugamba nti akanyuga lyali nalyo n'olwekyo mbasaamu ekitiibwa olw'okukanyuga lye muli nalyo wadde abamu bagamba nti ttono oba wadde abamu bagamba nti mukutte ekifunfugu. I will certainly critique them, but in the spirit of improving, not destroying. That is the second reason why I accepted to come. I'm not here because you're perfect. No one is. I'm not here because I agree with everything you do. I'm not here because I think you have the best credentials. I'm here because, unlike many of us, you chose not to fold your hands. You chose to do what you can do in your capacity, which is better than doing nothing. I'm here because despite of all the risks you face, despite of the pictures on those walls of your comrades who have died in the struggle, despite of your colleagues being locked away in this beautiful country's jails without any fair trial, despite frequent threats of crushing you for no good reason, despite the everyday risk of being rounded up and driven away for torture, despite temptations of big monies being thrown at you, you people still stand by what you believe. I respect that. Yes, it is indeed surprising that with all that has happened at this place, you can still come here and find people seated here. You would only expect a fool to sit in such a place. Because for some, even just passing there, they have to run. Because this is a dangerous place. It's like what we used to hear about Bermuda Triangle. So for you to choose to still stay in a place that is that risky to be, especially where the risk is not for having broken any law, but for standing by a certain cause. I really respect that. Whether I agree with it or not, I still respect it. And especially because we don't have many people today who are willing to take such a stance. The third reason I'm here is because of your constant efforts at making yourselves better. You have challenged many of us at individual level. we who consider ourselves to be more worthy. You have challenged all the political parties and seasoned politicians. Of course, it's not to say or to despise them. They are doing some of them are doing wonderful things. But I think it's a challenge for the few years you've been around to do what you've been able to do. We may publicly bash you, but we privately ask ourselves, aba bavubuka bakikola batya? You have responded to dismissal by proving your capacity to grow and transform, as the president said. We said you're not educated, which was not entirely true, because many of you are really educated and even highly educated. But when we say that you're not educated, many of you went back to school. We said you were bayai, hooligans. Although I think many of you might have believed, like I do, that there is nothing wrong with carrying dreadlocks. You painfully cut them off to fit into the public's idea of a decent person. After all, and this reminds me of a song by Morgan Heritage. You don't, yes, right. You don't have to dread to be Rasta. You don't have to dread to be Rasta. Yes, it's not a dreadlocks thing, it's a divine conception of the heart. Nubiani, I expected to hear a small voice behind. I don't know why, for the many years I've been hearing your collabos with now Bobi Wine. I don't know why you choose to always sing the small voice and he sings the big one. Yes, but the point I'm trying to make is that even when they said you're bayai, some of you had to cut off your dreadlocks, although you knew that it's not really about the dreadlocks, it's not about appearance, it's what one has at heart, what one has in their mind. You chose to cut them off to fit into the public narrative for the sake of what you believed needed to be done. You set up a leadership school whose fruits we are celebrating today, something that was unprecedented. We wondered what the curriculum was, and it has been asked many times. I heard you mention some of the things you studied, but many people have been asking, what is that school teaching and who are the lecturers? I've been able to see some of them here today. Yes, but that's no mean achievement, and beyond it being an achievement, it also shows the zeal to learn, and understanding that we are not going to keep ourselves in a particular position. We need to inform ourselves in order to do what we have to do. Someone said that, I forget the name, that if he was given a task of cutting down a tree and he was given 4 hours, he would spend the first 3 hours sharpening the axe and maybe 1 hour to cut the tree. You have been sharpening your axe because there was a provision that was set according to the vision, which I really commend. Earlier this year, you invited me to speak to your trainees. It was my first time to visit your facilities. One thing that struck me was how the trainees listened very attentively and with very high discipline for over 3 hours. For over 3 hours, I overstayed my welcome. I was invited to speak for 1 hour, I ended up speaking for 3. But they stayed there listening attentively. And the discipline with which they took instruction from the director, Miss Doreen Kaija, it was really amazing. At the time I visited the school, it had just been violently raided by security and most equipment had been confiscated. I asked if there was a projector that I could use for my presentation. And Doreen responded, "We don't have, everything was taken." But when I entered the room, I found it packed with people waiting for me. I asked them, "You people, how are you able to still gather in this place, yet you know you can be rounded up anytime?" They simply laughed. I found that commitment and the desire to learn quite impressive. The fourth reason why I'm here, when I'm giving the reasons, it sounds like I'm singing UB40's song. Which song is that? Even Doctor is also into the thing. Yes, reasons why I love you 1, reasons why I love you 2. Now I'm on the fourth reason. This is a selfish one. I'm here to distract myself from the pain of losing my brother and to use this occasion to make reflections on life, purpose, and resilience, which could speak to your life experiences and aspirations. When John died, almost everything I have been doing lost meaning. Kati abakamera balinze nkaaba sigenda kaaba. Mwagala mukwata akafaananyi mukagyeyo nga wayise emyaka ng'aka pasita bugingo mukatambuze. Sigenda kaaba wadde eriwo enkovu zinnuma. So when John died, almost everything I've been doing lost meaning. I keep asking myself, what for? What is life all about? What is the actual difference between being alive and being dead? Why do we struggle so hard in life only to vanish like wildflowers? Why do people who try to do good suffer? Why do those who bring pain to others often live long? What is the worth of our effort on earth? Why should we continue doing anything or even continue to live? So many questions, very few clear answers. I will only expand on one here. The question of why we are here on earth is a difficult one to answer. Ensonga lwaki tuli wano ku nsi ng'abantu nzibu nnyo okuzuula. From a religious angle, the answer comes easily, that we are here to worship God and do whatever He created us to do. I would focus more on the second purpose of doing what we were created for. On the purpose of worshiping God, I'm hesitant to believe that a perfect God would create us simply for the sake of singing His greatness. Only imperfect beings wish to be worshipped. I'm therefore more inclined to believe in worship through actions towards our fellow imperfect human beings and other animals. I don't so much believe in worship that is about only singing about God's greatness if that is not reflected in our actions. I think our actions mean much more than what we can sing. On the second purpose, how do we know what God created us for? Even the thief might argue that if we say that God knew us before we were born, then God knew that He would be a thief. Therefore, He is simply fulfilling God's plan. The torturer might make the same argument. Maybe that is why they often talk about torturing others and they mention Jesus in the same statement. Maybe that is why they would make public apologies, but without regretting or redressing any specific harm that they did to others. we would argue that perhaps the best way to tell if what we are doing or plan to do is what God created us for is to check if it is in line with what God encourages in the scriptures and what we consider to be God's nature. Can a good God create a person with the purpose of harming others? That would contradict God's nature as we know it. The other approach to understanding our purpose is by simply studying human nature in general and our particular uniqueness as individuals in our circumstances. When you keenly study human beings, you realize that there are two important elements that shape our key life choices. The two elements are happiness and pain. I consider those to be the most important aspects of human life, happiness and pain, and I will explain why. We are trying to maximize happiness for ourselves and to minimize pain or suffering. The reason you graduates chose to study is to maximize your happiness in some way and to minimize the pain that would come from not doing this course or the pain that would come from not being informed. The reason you go to hospital when you're sick is to minimize pain. The reason you seek for a well-paying job is to minimize happiness, rather to maximize happiness and minimize the pain of poverty or being broke. The reason you buy a car or build a house, the reason you produce children and take them to school is more or less the same. The reason why human beings at one point came up with the idea of having a government above them is so that it would help them to do things that they could not do individually. I don't think human beings set up governments as an end in themselves, as that the government was a good thing to be there just as a government. It was set in place to help them achieve things that they could not achieve individually as a way of maximizing happiness, especially to protect their lives, to protect their liberty, or to safeguard it, and their property. People agreed to pay taxes for the sake of what they expected in return. Therefore, governments in the modern sense were precisely created by human beings in order to maximize happiness and minimize pain. Not so that the powerful can maximize their happiness at the expense of the weak or subjects. The forms of government that survive on exploiting those under them have been tried in human history and found to be unsustainable. Even though some parts of the world still insist on them, they are not sustainable and they end up crashing, unfortunately, with so many people over time. We then realize that it is not enough for us to pursue what makes us happy and minimizes our individual pains without regard to the happiness and pain of others. The limit of your search for happiness is that point at which your happiness starts causing pain to others. This is where a sadist's view of happiness becomes problematic. A sadist is someone who gets happiness from the suffering of others. It is a mental disorder. If you ever see someone celebrating the pain of others, and especially if they are not celebrating the pain of an oppressor, then that person has a mental disorder. Because naturally, you would feel bad or something would haunt you if another person is going through pain. A person who celebrates the torture of another is a sadist, except, and I want to emphasize, except if the one whose suffering is being celebrated is the kind that causes pain to others. I'm one of those who believe that it's not a bad thing to celebrate the pain of an oppressor. And I saw people throwing that at me when I lost my brother. But the difference is My brother was not an oppressor of anyone. I'm not an oppressor of anyone, or so I would want to believe. So celebrating his death wouldn't really make sense in that context. But if the person who has died has been making the life of others unbearable, it is understandable why those people would celebrate naturally. Ideally, as human beings, the most ideal world would be one where we care about maximizing each other's happiness and minimizing each other's pain. Many conflicts in the history of humanity have been caused by a desire of different individuals or groups to exclusively care about their happiness without being bothered about the pain of others. While we human beings boast about being the only rational animals, it is strange how our rationality often fails to show us that a world where the happiness of some individuals is based on the suffering of others is never sustainable. How does our rationality fail to show us that almost obvious case? The one whose happiness inflicts pain on others can never really be happy in the long run. I repeat, the one whose happiness inflicts pain on others can never really be happy in the long run. They live in fear. They keep worrying about what their victims could be planning. Their display of anger and violence is not always because they want to show power. It is mostly because they are frightened. Have you ever observed the reaction of a dog that is trapped in a room when you get in? The anger it shows as it growls is actually born out of fear. That is why the slave abolitioner Frederick Douglass said that no man can put a chain on the leg of his fellow man without at last finding the other end fastened around his neck. I repeat this quote from Frederick Douglass. No man can put a chain around the leg of a fellow man or a fellow woman without at last finding the other end of that chain fastened around his own neck. And it's partly why the oppressors live in fear. Much as they will chain others, that chain is also around their necks. It is not really a good thing to live in fear all the time. One of the reasons they would have high security, unnecessarily high security, is because they are afraid of those they lead, which is a contradiction. Why should I fear people that I lead? Especially if I assume they love me. Knowing then that no one desires pain, and that often the pain we cause to others ultimately affects our happiness, we should all seek to pursue a life that aims at achieving the greatest happiness possible for everyone and the least pain possible. As you think about what you should be as a leader in your different capacities, seek to be that leader who does not prioritize his or her own happiness, even when it harms others. Corruption becomes wrong because of how it harms others for the sake of the happiness of some. I imagine that some of you are planning to stand in the forthcoming election, some of you graduates. I have already seen posters with all sorts of catchy slogans, some clearly deceptive. Do you really mean your slogans, or it is just a bait to catch voters? What is motivating you to stand for that position? What is motivating you to sell your property to raise funds for campaigns? Is it to maximize the happiness of those you seek to represent? Is that the reason why party cards are a do or die? Is that why people fight and treat each other as enemies in elections? Is it mainly about competition to serve? Are these people who are almost willing to kill each other simply competing to serve? That I would die in order to be the one to serve people? I think we need to reflect about that. What is the balance between personal interests? Thank you. What is the balance between personal interests and the interest to serve? While we congratulate you, the graduates, for having accomplished the leadership training, your certificate is not what we celebrate. We celebrate what we expect you to have become. We do not expect you to always remind us about what you studied. We simply want to see the difference in your actions. It should be your actions to announce what you studied, not just the certificate or your words. We don't primarily care about the quality of the dog in the fight. We mainly care about the quality of the fight in the dog. As Wole Soyinka once said, a tiger does not announce its tigritude. A tiger doesn't have to announce that, hey, I'm a tiger. How do you know that it's a tiger? A tiger does not have to announce its tigritude. It pounces. And after it has pounced, then you would know that that is what? Ugandans are in the habit of announcing their titles. I'm Dr. Muchibi Yusuf. I'm Engineer Opolot Patrick. I'm Honorable Agaba James. Yes, but in my view, it would make more sense if it is the people who added the title on the basis of what they see in you. It shouldn't be you to announce your own importance. You could have noticed, and I'm not in the habit of praising myself, just to make the point. You will not see my title anywhere on my social media handles. You will not see Dr. Spire Sentongo. It's just my name plain. If one feels I should be called doctor, then they should use the title, but not me to announce it everywhere and to introduce myself. I'm honored to be here. I'm Dr. Spire Sentongo. Yes, I worked for it, but the fact that I worked for it is not the most important thing. To me, the most important thing is what that title can do. Sometimes I've appeared on discussions, talk shows, and I've seen a comment on social media. What is a cartoonist doing discussing politics? I don't have to tell them anything. I don't have to justify myself to tell them about my qualifications, except on one occasion when I had to do it, when I felt it was quite provocative. I just told the person, here is my CV. I have 4 degrees and 2 of them are first-class degrees. Can I know yours? And I did not get a response. But that's not the important thing. Actually, despite, I mentioned it some time back, despite of all the degrees I have, you'll not even find a graduation photo picture in my house. I don't have even one. For other reasons, but one of them, I don't want to be the one to, every visitor should see the owner of this house has all these degrees and therefore they know how to behave in the house. First and foremost, they should know that they have visited a human being. That is the most important thing. Uganda is not short of educated people. Uganda is not short of people desiring to be leaders. Uganda is mainly short of people that are willing and ready to use their knowledge and positions for doing good beyond their personal interests. Ugandan politics is not simply short of people of integrity. Rather, Ugandan politics is simply short of people of integrity. And this runs across the political divide, across the spectrum. We have seen crooks in government, and we have seen real crooks in the opposition. Is that true? Yes. We've seen crooks in government and real crooks where? You do not become entitled to being a crook simply because you're in opposition. Recently, when we held the Parliament exhibition with Agora, which Honorable Chagulanyi mentioned. With a few exceptions, I was shocked by the silence of most opposition MPs about the rot in the House. Many of them avoided commenting or even volunteering information about the abuse of taxpayers' money in Parliament, which they were actually aware about. Many of them were quiet. I'm not shocked by the silence of those NRM, independent, but the silence of opposition people when we are here exhibiting Parliament and the road there. And you try to contact some of the people in opposition whom you would imagine that would be their interest. Nothing. They don't give you any information until it comes out, and then they call you and say, we knew that. We have always known that that thing is happening. So that's why I say there are crooks in government, and there are crooks where? And that being in opposition does not entitle you to being a crook. So many of them avoided commenting or even volunteering information about those abuses which they knew. Like in Animal Farm, we the other animals peeped through the window. We looked at the humans and we looked at the pigs, and we could hardly notice the difference. With a few exceptions, and I'm happy to mention that Honorable Senyonyi was one of those exceptions. That at least once in a while he could volunteer some information, but I'm not going to say which information. Tuli bachama chaffe ku ttale. Nakati kikyandi ku mutima. Some opposition MPs are part of the schemes where they are given money for trips and workshops that they never attend, or whose days they exaggerate to get more per diem from taxpayers. Even opposition MPs do that. Some opposition MPs took the 100 million bribe that was given recently during the debate on the court-martial issue. And we know it. Some awarded themselves huge packages without considering the pain of the taxpayer and without considering what basic services could be provided with that amount of money. And they reciprocate for these favors by also closing an eye to the theft done by their bosses in Parliament. So they make their deals, they are given these trips, for some of which they don't go. But when the Speaker or the Deputy Speaker or other NRM MPs do something, the deal is that they should also close one eye. We need to reflect deeply on that and not simply to identify as opposition if we can still do such things that are against the interest of the country and our people. Now they are back with beautiful slogans on posters looking for votes. I imagine we all know what to do. Remember that being in opposition comes with an even bigger burden of proving to be more worthy than those in power. In assessing your actions, people are assessing to see if you're worth trying, if there is any difference. We may not want to hear this, but some actions of politicians in opposition make people fear to change from the devil they know. I repeat this, which we may not want to hear. Some actions of politicians in opposition make people to fear changing from the devil that they know. At times I have drawn one or two critical cartoons of the opposition, and the insults I got made me scared what such individuals would do to me if they had more power. Like, you have drawn hundreds of cartoons about the other side. You draw just one or two critical of people in opposition and they insult you for 2-3 days. Naturally, you withdraw a bit and ask yourself, if these people actually get more power, what are they capable of doing? Now extend that beyond me, because at least for me, I'll say it. There are many people who are quiet there observing without saying anything. But sometimes you make them change their mind. that if these people are acting like this without power, what would happen if they have more? I understand that sometimes this is caused by anger, that we are too angry because of all the suppression, all the oppression. But what that oppression, the trap that is set for us, what it makes us do could sometimes be risky. It would change the minds of others. I'm told that some of you graduating are foot soldiers. We have foot soldiers here. Foot soldiers? I know because you're not sure of what I want to say, there are not now a few who are identifying as foot soldiers. Yes, I understand some of you graduating are foot soldiers, and I know that you do a great job being there on the front line, sometimes to combat people that we are not able to combat, sometimes to push back against narratives that are misleading. But I would only add a small thing. Muyige okulowoozanga ennyo ku ki ebikolwa byammwe kye biyinza okulowoozesa abantu. Kiddamu era ne Pulezidenti yakyogeddeko. Muyige okulowoozanga ennyo ki ebikolwa byammwe kye biyinza okulowoozesa abantu. Oluusi muvuma ekiteetaagisa. Sigamba mmwe ndowooza abataliiwo. Oluusi muvuma ekiteetaagisa. Oluusi omuntu anyiiga n'avuma. Ndowooza nange nalinyiizeeko n'envuma. Kati nze nvumira mu katuuni sivuma butereevu ng'abamu mmwe. Naye ate okuvuma tokufuula nkola. Kya buntu olumu okunyiiga n'ova mu mbeera. Olumu ova mu mbeera ng'onyiiza ovuma, naye okuvuma tekulina kufuuka nkola. It should not become a method. Nga n'omuntu akubuuza ekibuuzo okumanya endowooza yo, omuvuma buvumi. Akuwabula naye n'omuvuma. We may say that that is not the official party position, and I imagine so. But we have to tame ourselves as individuals. Every individual, whether you're this side or that side or outside, it's always a good thing to be prudent, to tame ourselves, to know what we should do in particular circumstances or not. Your sense of judgment is best seen in how you react to challenges. Our sense of judgment is not best seen when everything is smooth. Not so. People judge us most by how we behave when we are challenged, not by how we behave when everything is okay. The leadership you intend to show when you get power is first exemplified by how you conduct yourselves outside power, how you use the power you have now. Let your education be seen in that, not just photos and gowns. Abantu bangi batunula mu kasirise beetegereza kundi ekisinga omuntu gw'ovumye teyagwe weerabira. Abaganda bagamba nti kyerabirwa mugambi naye tekyerabirwa mugambirwa. Olw'okuba ovuma abantu bangi ojja kuvuma weerabira, naye nze gw'ovumye seerabira, era oluusi bwe ntunulako ne ndaba eno profile picture okulina akakofiira yanvumye, so nsigala ekyo kisigalamu. Ne bwe twogera naye muli kisigalamu, omuntu ono yanvuma. Naddala bw'onvuma nti wali nsonga, waliwo omuntu lwakuvuma naawe n'okkiriza naye mbadde nsaana okuvumibwa. Ekyo tekiruma nnyo. Lwakuba emirundi egisinga n'asaana okuvumibwa tamanya nti asaana okuvumibwa. Some of you seated here now might jump the fence tomorrow to the total opposite of what you appear to stand for now. It is actually okay to defect if one realizes on grounds of principle that they were wrong yesterday. Abamu ku mmwe mugenda kukyuka enkya. Muli mu colors zino, enkya bajja balaba mu color endala. Tewali buzibu ku kukyuka naddala bwe kubanga ekikukyusizza kulaba nti wembadde ndi mbadde mukyamu ng'olina ensonga eyesimba naye si buli kukyuka nti tekulina buzibu. It is actually okay to defect if one realizes on grounds of principle that they were wrong yesterday or that the group they belong to lost direction. Only a fool doesn't change their mind when there is good reason to do so. However, the reason for your change of mind matters a lot. Jumping from one political affiliation to another in pursuit of positions and personal benefits is a mark of a leader we do not need. I repeat, jumping from one political affiliation to another in pursuit of positions and personal benefits is a mark of a leader we do not need. Also note that defection is not an entirely personal matter. Defection is not only about you, it's not an entirely personal matter. An individual who defects for selfish reasons leaves behind broken hearts of those who believed in him or her, and who might find it hard to ever trust a politician again. Bw'okyuka nga waliwo abantu abadde bakukkiririzaamu ennyo, ate ng'okyusa olwatali nsonga eri awo naye okyuse lwa byoyagala okufuna. Abantu b'oba omazeemu amaanyi baba bayitirivu, nga mwe muli n'abo abagamba sijja kuddamu kwesiga munnabyabufuzi. Kati kitegeeza nti tekiri ku ggwe wekka. It's not your decision alone. That decision goes along with so many other people that you're going to affect, but also affecting the country that others desire to see. Some will choose never to vote again because they voted for someone who ended up betraying them. They voted for someone who ended up changing side. Just like some women whose hearts have been broken by a man that they trusted so much, they may now be saying all men are dogs. So omusajja yakumenya omutima yali omu, naye n'oga abasajja bonna mbwa. Kati n'emufa abamala gakyukakyuka mulimu abalowoozesa abantu nti bannabyabufuzi zonna mbwa. Ebyobufuzi tebigenda kuddamu kuntwala kuba omuntu gw'oyiirawo omubiri. Ekyo kigambo kyenkozesezza kyantama n'okuwulira. Era ndowooza ku luno tewali azze ng'asuubiza okuyiirawo munna omubiri. Omuntu gw'obadde oyiirawo omubiri n'ozuula nti ali mu bibye, bw'atuuka eddaala n'alisindika. You're not only accountable to yourself and your party leaders, but also to those that look up to you, many of whom you may never actually know. Lastly, you know better than me that the terrain you are faced with is a rough one. Kino mukimanyi okunsinga. Kye muyingiridde oba kye mulimu already. Kiki? Kye mulimu kiki? Nga bwe nayogedde nga ntandika. Ffe tubeereyo ne twewuunya naye abantu abali awo balina kizibu ku mitwe oba conviction ye y'amaanyi ennyo nti n'ebino byonna ebibaddewo era omuntu addayo. Oli n'awandiika ku mukutu nti ngenda kukwasa omutwe n'osanga era ng'omuntu akomyewo ng'alinga agamba oba ogwasa gwase. So kyenva ngamba nti kye mutunuulidde mukimanyi okunsinga. It is a very tough terrain, especially now that we are in election time and that we have someone in charge that we don't know what they are capable of, or we have an idea of what they are capable of, but it is not something that you can look up to. Some of you might die. Or I can even put it in the affirmative and not threaten anyone. Tujja komawo wano nga tugamba omugenzi gundi twali naye wano. Ekyo sikyogera kutiisa naye tukimanyi kuba bangi nga bwe naga ebifaananyi ebimu ebiri awo by'abantu abaafa ate nga baali bannaffe nga n'ekyabatiisa tukimanyi. Some of you might get crippled. It was a very emotional moment when you were handing a gift to one of your comrades who was disabled or was lost his limb when he was doing this work. But we know all the time that we could all end up like that. Recently there was, I think during the Kawempe elections, there is this video which was making rounds that really touched me so much, of a certain gentleman whose leg had been broken, but he was still standing on the, it's called who? Tower. That even with all that pain, with a broken leg, he could still go there and lift it, showing that they've broken my leg. And you know, there are many other people who see that, but they are still willing to go, which is one of the reasons I gave for coming here. Men, in fact, what some of those people don't know, that by doing that to people who are innocent, you end up emboldening those who are not even concerned. Because they also ask themselves, but how can one be this ruthless? So much as I might not be able to do what you do, but I really admire it. But the point I was trying to make was that all that is going to happen. Some of you might lose loved ones. Some of you will go to jail. I see you holding placards of colleagues, of your comrades who are now in jail, some of whom you don't know where they are. You knowingly chose this path. But it doesn't mean that you will know how to handle those things when they actually happen. Wadde mwasalawo okugoberera olunyiriri olwo naye sisuubira nti mumanyi how it will feel ebintu ebyo bwe biribeerawo. I don't think you know how it would feel. I had already lost my parents, but when my brother died, it hurt like something I had never experienced. Be there for each other. It is normal to get traumatized and depressed. Seek for counseling support. Care about your mental health. Mental health is very important. Sometimes what your oppressor does is to make you lose your mind. And once you lose it, they use it as a weapon against you. Yet yakusudde ddala. So be mindful about your mental health, although it's not totally in your hands to choose. It is okay to take breaks once in a while and recollect yourself. You're human and your body has limits. Talk to those who have been through similar experiences, especially trusted elders, and seek for their counsel. I have to underline that, especially trusted elders. I don't agree with the narrative that every elder is worth being approached for advice. Yes, but culturally we respect our elders because they earn that respect through their actions. There is a difference between being an elder and being an old person. You can be an old person but not an elder. So when you're challenged, seek the counsel of elders, those who have gone through some of these things and can advise you. Do not open too many fronts at the same time if you can avoid it. Totandika ntalo nnyingi omulundi gumu naddala ng'entalo ezimu tezeetaagisa. Omanya olutalo lw'oliko n'otunuulira olwo, obumu obutono n'obwewala n'obuleka. Know when to fight, know when to run. From which song is that line? Yes, The Gambler by Ken Rogers. Know when to fight, know when to run. Know what to respond to, know what to ignore. About knowing what to ignore, I don't even have to advise you on that. I've seen some of your leaders doing it very well. There are people who will say certain things and I think they expect now he is going to say something. Total silence. So that is part of the wisdom that we need sometimes. To ignore what we think does not. Avoid petty fights that add nothing to your goal apart from distracting you and distancing you from potential allies. Obutalo obutonotono obutayamba mubwewale oba oluusi olutalo obwofiirwa n'emikwano egimu gye wandyetaaze. Waliwo olutalo olwoleka ng'okimanyi nti ono omuntu wadde atandise olutalo ojja kumwetaaga. Kansooke muleke kati ndimuddira ng'ateredde. Si buli lutalo abali mizindaalo okugijjako munzijukiza nti nve wano nga nkyayogera. Anyway, I was saying avoid petty fights and that add nothing to your goal apart from distancing you from potential allies. Seek for strategic alliances, not just for building your own power as an individual or as a party. Honorable Senior, you talked about that, and I think Mr. Katana, if you're different camps working towards the same goal, why fight each other? Sometimes this discourages, actually often it discourages people out there. When you see people that you imagine to be working towards the same thing, fighting, you start asking yourself, but are they really working for that thing? Because if they were working towards that, then they shouldn't be fighting each other. So let's look out more towards making strategic alliances than fighting where there is no need. I'm happy to see someone holding a placard there, Free Dr. Besigye. I think that means a lot. At a noob gathering, someone holding a placard, Free Dr. Besigye. I think it's the spirit that we need. For those that we trust, there are those that might not really be, might not have won our trust. It is a waste of energy and an indicator of selfishness or lack of clarity of purpose for us to fight people who are trying to do the same thing that we are doing. I wish you the very best in your next plans. Go and make the world a better place. And congratulations once again.
When the struggle is over, we shall wear the victor's crown. We shall wear the victor's crown. When the struggle is over, we shall wear the victor's crown in the new Uganda. People power, our power, NUP, bana daktari mukubiri ngale z'amaanyi. Sebo tusimye nnyo era mwetulire. Without wasting any further time, nange mbadde njogeraganya ne Katonda ku byenkuba agenda gikwata paka nga tumaliriza. Tukikubire mu ngalo mwogedde naye. Kale ezo zange mukubire Katonda engalo z'amaanyi. Mr. President, because we are bogged with time, I will not waste any other time but invite our Secretary General to take us through the graduation ceremony. Graduation award ceremony. People power,
Is it a graduation or award ceremony? Kale ne mwetulira. No, eno si service award sebo. Mr. President, our keynote speaker, Dr. Spire Sentongo, the Deputy President, leader of our parliamentary team, Treasurer, International Relations, Chairperson of the Fundraising Committee, in a very special way, Comrade Kaija Dorin, who coordinates the School of Leadership. Ladies and gentlemen, our time is fast spent, so I think we'll do this very quickly. But allow me, Mr. President, first of all, to appreciate you once again for availing the space at Kamocha for our School of Leadership. Masebo ne banyabo, tukyogerako buli kiseera, NUP tesasula ssente okozesa ekifo ky'e Kamocha. Kamocha awali essomero lyaffe, eyo space ya President nga bw'abanyonyodde. Nze nno nagendangayo ku barracks eyo gy'ayogeddeko. Ne mbasanga bali awo. Saagala kwogera byali alufe yaliwo mu kiseera ekyo. Naye yaliwo. Ogendawo n'owasanga awo nga boogera ebintu. Naye mpola mpola nange nayingira ghetto. So I want us to appreciate the President for that. Number two, I want to also add that when the military raided the School of Leadership, the entire library was emptied. Ebitabo byaffe byonna byonna bye twali tuguze ssente nnyingi ku ssomero eryo baabitwala tebikomangawo. Babibba tebikomangawo. And you remember that before they raided, they first summoned us to the police to ask us, what do you teach? And all that and all that. But we told them that, but you people also have chankwanzi where you teach people how to steal and hide the evidence and all that. Why are you also bothered by us who are teaching integrity and leaders of value? So they found themselves in a big trouble, but when we went for that meeting, they promised that anytime we shall raid that school and even close it down. But I'm very glad that we are still operating and able to do what we are doing. Finally, on that point, I think you people see why the regime really gets so bothered and even contemplates right now their new target is to see how to deprive NUP of funding. Because they see that the little money we get, we put it to good use. These people who are getting certificates today, have you paid anything? So we are able to run the school, we are able to run these facilities and other things without charging money, because we use the little money we get for the right causes, for the right purpose. So, like we have constantly said, NRM gets 75% of that money. NUP gets only 12%. But see what we're able to do, the 12%, vis-a-vis what they are doing with the 75%. And imagine if the people of Uganda entrust us with state resources, I think this country will be what? Good. Mr. President and members, I want to also recognize the facilitators. Dr. Spire has given a very, very philosophical message today. I hope we have all picked one or two things. But one of the things he talked about was talking about the people who teach at the school. And the people who teach at the School of Leadership are not paid also. They do voluntary work. Tetusasula bantu bano okusomesa okubawa amagezi ago gonna gemufuna kusomera eryo, so they need to be appreciated. Communication, where is Comrade Waiswa? So come here and people see you and they clap hands for you. So this man has been teaching communication. As you've been told, ladies and gentlemen, these people started the team we are giving out certificates to today is level 1. Like we explained at the start, there are 3 levels. There's level 1, level 2, and level 3. So this is level 1. And under level 1, we teach political and constitutional history of Uganda. Ebyafaayo bya Uganda babisoma era bano bakuguse mu byafaayo bya Uganda. Netusomesa the philosophy of the National Unity Platform. Philosophy nga tubasomesa values y'ekibiina kyaffe, structure y'ekibiina n'ebirala. Bano netubasomesa the art of public communication. Era Comrade Waiswa, era abazze wano ne boogera mulabye nti bakuguse nnyo musomere lya art of public communication. We are very, very proud of those people who spoke on behalf of the teams. Baina essomo lye bayita pathways to political change. Eryo zibu nnyo sigenda linnyonnyola ne mu Luganda. Then ne basoma leadership with action. Not just being a leader, but how do you impact lives and society. Then ne basoma governance and civil liberties. Bano abantu, Mr. President and our keynote speaker, bakuguse mu nsonga y'okumanya eddembe lyabwe. Era bano tosobola kubanyigira mu ttooke kubanga bamanyi eddembe lyabwe welitandikira ne welikoma. So mbadde nkya recognizinga ababasomesezza ne mbagamba nti public communication abadde abasomesa omu gwe bayita Alex Waiswa Mufumbiro n'okugattako Innocent Tegusulwa. Kitegeeza byabasomeseza mu bikutte nnyo. NUP philosophy abadde agibasomesa mulimu Sebufu John Mary, Comrade Sebufu John Mary may not be around. Omulala ye Keya Jeremiah. Omulala gwe bakazako erya Dosi. Mulaba wali Alex Rovan Jwanyaga. Sebo keynote speaker owulidde nti serious nno bw'okyaleeti toyingira. Ate oluusi era oyo omusajja ali ludda wa Razak bwe bawadde award abadde ng'ayitamu ng'alaba ani ayogerera ku ssimu. So mumulaba ono oyo amonitoringa classes ezo. Leadership with action, tubadde tulina Dr. Kanabi Moses, organizing secretary waffe. Ne tubeera n'omukulu Serunjoji Charles Musoke. Ne tubeera ne Madam Sarah Muwonge. Ate gwe people power. Kakati kusonga eddembe ly'obuntu babadde basomesebwa Sekanjako Abubakar omunnamateeka. Keya Jeremiah naye abadde abasomesa. Ne tubeera n'omukulu Katumba Faizo. Katoyo Katumba Faizo yasooka n'abeera omuyizi ku ssomero eryo naye because he was one of the best students he was retained. Era eyo policy yaffe nti abayizi abakola obulungi ne basukuluma ku banaabwe tuba retaininga ate ne bayigiriza abalala. Kubanga enjogera ya Geto egamba bw'obuuka n'otabuusa oba tolina nsonga lwaki wakola ki? Bw'obuuka n'otakola ki? Oba tolina nsonga lwaki? Baddeyo mu Zigeto mu Kampala Central n'ensanga omwana n'akanjigirizaako. Kakati essomo eriri taafu lye mbagamba erya pathways to change babadde basomesebwa Katana Benjamin ali awo omukulu. Owokubiri nga ye mwami Kenneth Paul Kakande abataddemu ekikuli kyonna. era ne John Mary Sebufu olusinga abasomesa ku nsonga eyo. Kaakati ebyafaayo no bwebiwulira oba olowooza nti abasomesa mukadde nnyo ebyafaayo akimanyi. Naye abadde abasomesa sooka bamuyita David Lucy Lugongoya. Abasomesa byafaayo omulala ye Kibuuka Moses. Muyaawo Mosh. Omulala nga Dr. Kanabi, omulala nga ye Mukalas Deus. Simanyi obali wano. So those are the facilitators at the School of Leadership. So ladies and gentlemen, and I also want to appreciate the guest speakers. As you know, our classes are on Tuesday and Thursday. But on Wednesday we have a guest speaker, a guest lecture, and Dr. Spire came in, and many other leaders, including the Loeb, have been going there. Even the president himself has been coming every once in a while to speak to this. These are the people who have done all the time, but we also have sessions of a few people who come and lecture and go. So we had groups coming in from Gomba, from different places, Wakiso and others, to come in and just get trainings for 1 day, for 2 days, and all that. So ladies and gentlemen, we move on to the reason why we're here. I'm going to invite you, Mr. President, our guest speaker and deputy presidents, to come and we begin the certificate awarding ceremony. So we are moving on to award these wonderful people. Abazadde mwebali. Kunono temwaweerera abaana naye mwabazaamu amaanyi era namwe tubebaza. No, I think you need to come this way like it. Yeah. You give this. All right. So we are going to begin with Class A. Class A is of the foot soldiers. The School of Leadership, we have 3 classes, 3 categories. The first one is Class A, foot soldiers. The second one is professionals, Class B. And number 3 is elected leaders. And but now this time round we have some people from the diaspora who are also awarded. Okay, the very first one is Babirye Amina.
Dogo City. We bali nyusiba yo nso City kolanga kona. Na wansa te City.
Yeah, so once you get your certificate and the president gives you the pin, no, the parents will come later for the pictures because we need to do it very, very quickly. Bale Hassan, Obugaluba Bale Hassan. Then to Buyondo Farida. There's an interesting group of 2 people who were studying and disturbing each other. Tuina Byaruhanga George. Obugaluba Byaruhanga George. Byekwa Sosam. Ono ye. Oyo muzoga nyoyo. Dumba Hubbard. Jai Muzamiru. Muzamiru, is Muzamiru here? Oh yes. Guy Muzamiru. Asad Sonko. Asad Sonko. Oyo Sonko wemulaba ye ya paintinga offices in the National Unity Platform. So you can see ono musajja muzimbi era akola mu bya painting. Bweyawulira twaliwo okusoma naye n'abyenyigiramu wekyotera. Isabire Salim. Isabire Salim. Kabale Ali. Kabale Ali. Kabito Alex. Kabito Alex. Kabito Alex nga siwulira vibe y'amaanyi awo n'okubateekamu kale. Kajubi Muhammad Sendawula. Tulina Kakande Ali Banks. Kakande Ali Banks. Kamia James. Kamia James. Katabaz James. Katabaz James. Katerega Hassan. Katerega Hassan. Kato Edison. Kato Edison M. Kato Kawesa Misaili. Kazibwe Gerald. Chibirango Andrew. Okay. Chibirango Andrew. Chibirango Andrew, are you around? Chibirige Ezra. Chibirige Ezra. Chigozi Salim. Chigozi Salim. Esawa Yuna. Chisache David Makumbi. Chivumbi Emmanuel Joel. Chivumbi Emmanuel Joel. Chankanga Simon. Chankanga Simon. Lubega Medi. Lubega Medi. Abazadde nga temukuba mu ngalo bannange. Lumisa Ivan. Lumisa Ivan. Lutaya Jacob. Lutaya Jacob. Musajja ono ayambadde ba political prisoners. Luiga Moses. Luiga Moses. Muyanja Sharif. Muyanja Sharif. Babazi Anet. Babazi Anet. Babazi Anet. Musisi Difference or Defiance. Musisi Aliwa. You got defiance or difference? Difference, yeah. Musoke Paul. Musoke Paul. Nabosa Juliet. Nabukenya Betty. Nadamba Shailen. Namazi Agnes. Namata Brenda. Namata Brenda. Namuleme Regina. Namulema Regina. Ha, mama ngole sate ebyaka bibenda wao. People power, our power, NUP, everywhere, Namute Bisara. Namuyanja Farida, Namuyanja Farida, Namuyiga Esther. Wanangu yowaja kuye president salute engeri kyayambadde n'obukambwe bonna bonna balina genda bali bakuwe certificate y'obumala Nancha Fiona